Exactly how do you know that your higher self or your intuition is speaking to you about something? I'm going to share a little bit more about that in this episode. But if you haven't tuned into the guided meditation yet, look back through the videos and connect with the higher self meditation. This will be a way to set up the experience for you to understand a little bit more about what I'll be talking about in this episode. And then you can pull these two teachings together and start putting them into practice for your own daily life. Let me know how it goes for you. I would love to hear some insights about how you've been able to start adding in more connection with your higher self. Welcome to the Soul Alignment Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Angie, and I'm inviting you to explore the depths of self-sabotage, limiting mindsets, and the beliefs that hinder our progress in life. Through intuitive messages I receive from my spirit team, I share profound insights to help you live authentically and break free from these limitations. Join me now as we uncover all the keys to living your best life. Welcome back. My name is Angie, and I'm your Soul Alignment Mentor, bringing you intuitive messages from my spirit team to help you align with your most authentic and highest self. In today's episode, we're going to talk a little about our higher self and intuition. And if you're anything like me, when I was really starting to try to learn to trust my intuition and follow the guidance of my higher self, I was a little confused on how to know the difference between my voice and my higher self's voice. So first of all, let me explain for those who might not be aware of what the higher self is. So we all have an energy that creates our original form. This original form is unchanging. It is what we might call our spirit or our soul. That part of our original form is a projection of ourselves now. So our true self is eternal, never ending, full of love, compassion, all of the positive energies of the universe. There's not really any way to describe how amazing that part of ourself is. We come to earth and we start to disconnect from our true self. We forget who we are. And in that first 7 years of our life, we start to become programmed to have an identity of what we grow up to believe we are. And in that time period, we start to truly forget that we even have a higher self, or we have an intuition that we can be guided by or listen to. And I will share a little bit more in a different episode about how that actually happens within that 7 years, that first 7 years of your life, and why those 7 years are so important for a human. But for the sake of just hearing from your higher self and adding on to the guided meditation that you maybe have already engaged in, or if you haven't, you're welcome to go back and look at after this video. This is a way for you to begin to add in daily simple routines so you can start to really connect with your true soul, with the spirit that guides you in all the best ways that you can be guided in your life. And being able to do this can be exciting and scary and confusing, and all the emotions of the ego can start to come up when you really start trying to tune in and listen to your higher self. So the way that I would encourage you to start this process is very small, with very simple things in your life that really don't matter if you make a right or wrong choice. Things that are not going to cause damage in any kind of way for you. Something very simple about choosing an item to eat that day or which store to go to. And I'm going to give you some practical examples that I've used in my life to maybe help you understand how you can follow this intuitive prompt that comes up in your body. The first thing I want you to think about is that this part of you, your higher self, is connected to all things. It is a part of the universe. It's a part of God. It's a part of your spirit guides, your ancestors and loved ones who have passed on in spirit. It is all things at all times. Is everything. And so the guidance that you're tuning into is very powerful and has a frequency about it that is only in the energy of love. And so this part of you is only going to want to guide you towards things that are for the highest good in your life. And the more you connect with this, the more you start to build your frequency up in your own body, in your own mind, and your ego. So it becomes easier and easier to connect with this part of yourself as your vibration rises. And then it becomes a little bit less confusing when you're trying to hear from your higher self, if it is your higher self or not. But you have to start small. Your body is very magical. Many times we spend a lot of time belittling our body or talking negative about us. But one of the things I want you to first start to notice is, how do you speak about yourself? What are you saying about yourself? What do you say about your body? And this is all going to be in your mind. And those little simple things are going to be determining the vibration and energy that you are holding within your belief system. Now, there are ways to clear out the negative energy, and this is something I do with my one-on-one clients, where I help guide them through each chakra to discover what is programmed in that energy and why that's impacting their energetic field and the way they believe about themselves and the world around them. But for you to really start to know your higher self, you have to know your own energy. If you don't know your own energy, you cannot determine if this is me or if this is my higher self. And so one of the first things I always encourage people to do is to sit in meditation and begin to sense and feel your own energy. Again, the guided meditation that I have posted will help you to do that. It's very simple. It's less than 10 minutes, and it will give you a tool that you can start adding into your daily life if you want to start practicing this. So the first thing is always getting to know yourself first. If you don't know what your energy feels like, you're not going to be able to tell if there's an energy around you. And that energy around you is your higher self, your spirit guides, your angels, your loved ones. And this is how a medium works. A medium is able to feel a difference in the shift in their energy based on the way they feel and the way they sound, to compare to the higher self or a spirit or a guide or a loved one that will come through. So there's a subtle shift that happens in our energetic system, in our aura, basically. So getting to know your own energy versus your higher self's energy is about paying attention to the different shifts that come up for you. And those different shifts will often feel either expansive and open or restricted and dense. In a way that you can start practicing this in a very easy, simple way in your daily routine and daily life is starting to pay attention to those shifts that you have. Again, this can be for very simple decisions. I do not encourage this for big decisions in your life until you've really practiced this. So one of the things you can start doing is when you're getting ready to make dinner, like asking your higher self, which option is the best for my body? How can I make a decision that would help my frequency stay in a higher vibration? Because the reality of it is we eat food that makes us feel bad or makes us feel shameful or gives us guilt. We are lowering our frequency because we're pulling in those negative emotions with what we're eating. Now, I'm not saying that you should feel that every time you eat a donut or every time you want a cookie. You can totally engage in those things and still keep a high vibration. So it matters in the intention that you're doing the action. If you're eating the food out of trying to cover up shame or cover up anxiety or feel better, then you're actually eating the low vibration with that food. So that is how that can impact your body, mind, and frequency. But if you're trying to make a decision based on your higher self and you have two options in front of you, and it could be a salad versus soup, it really doesn't matter. What I would encourage you to do is sit and really tune into the frequency and vibration of your body and ask your higher self, does this option align with me or this option align with me? And so focus on one of the options and sense and feel, does my body's energy and the shift in my aura become expansive and open? Does it feel flowy and exciting and that like a higher frequency and vibration? Or does it start to become dense and heavy and like it's kind of a negative, hard feeling. And it doesn't mean that either option is wrong or bad. It means that this is a way that you can begin to be more aligned with your higher self's guidance. So your higher self honestly doesn't care if you choose a salad or soup. Your higher self just cares about you and how you feel. So it's going to guide you to the thing that helps you feel your best, because that is what our higher self wants. It wants us to have a good, positive life full of positive energy. So if you're tuning into the salad and you start to feel a dense frequency come over your body and it feels a little heavy and it feels like, that doesn't feel aligned with me right now. And then you tune into the soup and you start to feel it opening up and expanding and your frequency feels excited and aligned, then that's the option that you should choose in that moment. Because when you engage with that, it's going to allow your frequency to stay in a higher vibration. And that is you tuning in and hearing from your higher self. Some other ideas that you could add into a daily routine is, if you're not in a hurry or you're not doing something important, you can ask your higher self to guide you to the best options or things that are in that you can find in your life. Here's an example, a couple of examples that I have used in the recent weeks for connecting with my higher self and asking my guides to come help me. And even my loved ones, my dad, who is in spirit, I've asked him to come through and help me make decisions. A few weeks ago, I kept having several things happening in my home. My plumbing went out twice in 1 week. And then after my plumbing went out, my mower quit working. It was like one thing after another kept, going bad and going wrong. I was very frustrated. I was upset. I was trying to figure out, why is all this happening? I finally sat down to meditate and ask my higher self for guidance and wisdom on how to make it through these things. And I heard, you are just being shown opportunities to trust the universe more. And in many ways, I don't necessarily believe the universe tests us, but I do believe the universe gives us opportunities that we can begin to see what frequency we're at, so we can begin to adjust that frequency into a new one. So if you want to call it a test, and it can be a test, but it's more of an opportunity of growth and learning. So if you were in school and you've been learning something for a long time, and then you come to the time of the test, and that test teaches you whether you've learned that material or not. This is kind of what our higher self and our spirit team is guiding us into, is like showing us, okay, we have been teaching you these things. Now it's time to put them into practice. So our lives might start to present opportunities for us to actually be in that higher frequency and not go back down into a lower frequency of fear or anxiety or control. And so I heard my higher self say, these are tests for you to find out where you are in your frequency and what still needs to be released and opened. And after I heard that, I had a lot more peace and was like, okay, so all I have to do is just trust all this is going to work out. It's going to be fine. I need to release the fear around it. And I need to understand that everything is always working out for my highest good. It came to the point where I just needed to give in, and I ended up hiring a plumber. Thankfully, the first time that they came back the second time for free, because somehow this issue was connected. And so that worked out in my highest favor, my highest good. Then I realized, okay, I'm just going to have to give in and go buy a new mower. I look online to see what the cheapest mower is out there. And of course, I'm not feeling super great about having to spend the money on it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it just because I'm fully believing that everything is working out and I'll be fine. So as I'm driving to the store that evening to get the new mower, I have an idea of which one I'm getting, how much it is, and I pull into the parking lot and I start to feel that restricted feeling in my energy because I'm paying attention and I'm listening to my higher self. And that frequency starts to feel denser and denser and heavier and heavier. And I feel a little like uneasy about going in and purchasing this mower. So instead of pushing through and being like, okay, I'm just worried about spending money, I'm just like making up all these excuses, I sit and I ask my higher self before I even get out of the car, what is this energy telling me? Is this energy me causing myself to be in fear and not listening to you? Or is this you telling me that there's a different option I should be listening to? As I sat there, I began to get this feeling and sensation in my body, in my mind, that there was a better option somewhere. And when I started to really tune into what that better option may have been, all of a sudden in my mind pops up this house about 3 blocks from my home that always has used mowers sitting out front. Now, probably 5 or 6 years ago, or maybe even longer, I had purchased a mower from this home and it worked for quite a long time. And so I had totally forgot about that. And I wasn't even considering looking for a used mower at this time. But the idea popped in my head and I thought, okay, why not? And so that was my higher self saying, there's a better option for you. You don't have to go in and purchase this mower. You absolutely can if you want to. It's not going to cause any harm. It's not going to cause you harm. It's not going to be a bad choice. But there's a better option if you would like to take that one. So instead of getting out of my car and going to the store, I just turned my car around and I drove to this home. Now, I have to be brave to do these kind of things, but I knew my higher self was guiding me. So I pull into the driveway, and sure enough, there are like 5 mowers sitting there that I can choose from. And the guy came out and we talked, and I ended up being able to purchase a new mower for almost $300 less than what I was going to spend. He even brought it to my house for me and picked up my old mower and took it away. And everything worked out perfectly, and the mower worked amazing. So that is just one example of me listening to my higher self and feeling into the energy of how I feel, like physically feel, to know if my higher self is guiding me or not. My higher self was giving me the clue that there was another option by my feeling of being uneasy. But we often dismiss these things. Now, there can be a sensing that you have an uneasy feeling just because you feel fear or you feel uneasy. And this is why it's so important to get to know your own energy and know the difference. Is this my higher self giving me this feeling, or is this my ego giving me this feeling? So that is why sitting in your energy on a regular basis, on a daily basis, just being in it is beneficial to do through meditation. Now, another example I have that can help you understand, and this one was just super simple, and it just happened the other day. I sometimes have back-to-back appointments all day, and if you know anything about ADHD, I kind of have ADHD, and I'm neurodivergent, and I'm very sensitive to energy, and everything is like kind of goes really quickly for me in my life. And so if I have 1 hour open, it just feels like I only have like 20 minutes open. So I feel like I have to fit as much stuff in very quickly. So my mind isn't always able to comprehend like time. And that day I had several appointments back to back, and I had about an hour in between 2 of my appointments. And in my head, of course, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I have to get all this stuff done in this very short amount of time. And I knew I needed to go and purchase some items at a store. And so I decided I was just going to run over to the store right next to my house. I'm going to get the items, be back in time for my appointment. It's just going to go really quick. No problem. Just get whatever I need. As I pull out of my drive and I start driving to that certain store, I'm going to have to turn left at an intersection to get there. But I also know that if I keep going straight, there's another store that has the same items. And for some weird reason, as I'm getting ready to turn into the lane to turn, I start to feel that restricted feeling again. And I'm like, this just doesn't feel right for some reason. It doesn't feel expansive and aligned. And instead of ignoring that feeling because I'm thinking, okay, this is just because I am trying to rush, this is just because I don't really want to do this, like whatever it might be, and pushing through that really dense, heavy feeling, I listened to it and I just continued to go straight to the other store, which is a little bit further away. And here's what's really cool. As soon as I made that decision, my phone dinged, and I looked down and there is an email to the store I'm heading to for a coupon for the one of the items I needed to get. So that was the way the universe was showing me the synchronicity of me listening to my higher self and being guided with that choice instead of pushing against it. by providing me an insight to, you made this choice because you were following the highest path for yourself, and now you're going to attract positive things in your life because of that. And this is how we begin to manifest new things in our life, by paying attention to the energy shifts that we get in our body. They're very subtle, they're very quick, they're very unnoticed most of the time. And that's why when you sit in your energy and you meditate and you pay attention to any shifts that happen in your energy field, you can start to put that into practice, into daily practical things that really don't mean anything in that moment. It didn't matter which store I went to be honest. I could have gone to either and they both would have been fine. But because I decided to listen to my higher self gave me the synchronicity of the coupon to show me, you listened. Now here is something in alignment with that you can begin to attract into your life. And it was just simple. So as you start to work on listening to your higher self more, it all starts at home. It all starts with just sitting in silence and listening to your higher self, feeling your energy, seeing if you feel a subtle shift, making those little tiny decisions, maybe with your food or with a TV show, whatever it might be. Try to start listening and feeling the way your energy shifts, because our energy is always talking to us. Our body is always talking to us. We just don't always pay attention. So these are some clues and ideas that you can start to add into your daily routine in your life to begin to open up the ability to connect more with your soul, your higher self, your spirit team, and any guides that are trying to help you in any decisions in your life. If you would like support and more help learning to do this, feel free to either set up a healing session or a reading with me. I can help guide you into what might be blocking you from being able to do this. Or if you would like to start working with me, I do have a couple one-on-one session times. I offer 7 weeks, 3 months, and 6 months one-on-one work with me, where I really help people to uncover all the blocks in their life and then really get back in touch with their true and most highest self. If that's something you would like to do, just look at the links below and come on over and we can have a chat and meet. So until we meet again, I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is. I send you all the universal love. Namaste.